Hey guys, welcome back, and today we'll be discussing about another good question called binary prefix divisible by 5. Now, you can actually read over the question over the lead code, and if you still didn't understand what the question is trying to convey, don't worry, you're not the only one which is confused about this question because I have tried to spend much time in this question, and finally, I have come with a solution that is very innovative, and you can actually approach the solution in any interview question, right? So, let's begin with the question and what it's trying to say, right? So currently here we have given an array. Okay, the array is basically the binary representation of any number, and we have to check of all the binary prefix. So for those guys who are not aware of what is the prefix is basically, suppose I write rewrite. Let's suppose so the prefix here will be r e rew. So basically, it's starting from the first letter in this character, and it goes on to the last, right? So this is how the prefix of any given string or maybe array is calculated, right? So in this question, what you have to do is that we have to calculate the prefix, right? So what is the first prefix you can think of over here? Yeah, it's one. Cool. Okay. Now, what is the next prefix? It is one and zero. But here, there's one thing to remember that you might be thinking that the value here is 1 because the 2 power 0 is 0, 2 power 0 is 1, and 2 power 0 is 0, right? So its representation should be 1. But no, this is not the case. We have to read it in the reverse way, like uh, 1 0 1, right? So the representation will now become 2. Hence we have to remember this case. We are actually not reading the value from left to right. We are actually interested in reading the value from right to left. I think so this was a point which is not much clear in the question. So if you have actually cleared about this thing, you can actually give it a try. If it cannot, let's talk about how we can approach this. So before approaching, let's talk about some cases. Okay, so there is only two possible cases. Let's suppose we encounter our current value is at 1. Okay, same here. There are two cases. Okay, this and this. So let's suppose our current value is at 1 and the next digit to be read is 0. Okay, we know that the sum up till here is 1. Okay, because 2 power 0 is actually equal to 1. So that's the case. Okay, and don't worry, we are actually read it from right to left. That's we are actually reading from right to left, something like this. But the thing to remember here is that whenever we encounter a zero, okay, we know that suppose it was one. Now we let's say we are moving to the right and we encounter a zero. So the value of the previous value was what? One. Okay, but now if you read it from right to left, the value will become zero one, and it is basically two. So you can see it is actually the double value here. Okay, so we can actually conclude that for any zero we encounter in a path, the next if the next digit to be read is zero, the value will double up. Okay, and similarly, if we encounter a one, what will happen is that the value will become 2x plus 1. Similarly, here you can see that we had the previous value as 1. Okay, and now we have encountered a one another one here. So what happened here is that the value, you know, that answer should be 3. So, but how we are getting 3? First we are actually doubling up this one and adding a 1 here. So 2 into 1 is 2 and 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay, so that's how we got this value here. And I have come with the conclusion that for any 0 encountered, I can say that I'm getting a formula of 2x plus 0. What is 0? Just we are adding it for the namesake to make a to make a very final solution you can actually understand. Okay, and if we are getting a 1 year, what we'll do is that we will double up the value, but also remember that we are also adding a 1 year. So that's it. We can see that the formula here will be 2 into answer. The answer is the previous value which is being stored in. Okay, and the plus the num psi. So num psi here can be 0, and if it is 0, we can simply say that the value has become double, and if it is 1, we can say that it has become 2x plus 1. So that's it, guys. That's everything you need to know about. But also remember that when we're actually using this in the question, what happens is that the answer will not hold up. Okay, the answer will give a overflow error. So this is now this is like a big problem, and we need to solve this. So how we can solve this? Remember that in any how we know that for any digit it is divisible by 5, or okay, what is the criteria here? The last digit should be either 5 or 0. Okay, the last digit should be either be 5 or 0. Hence we will extract, we only care for the last element. If the last digit here, if we use this formula, okay, 2 into answer plus nums high and extract the last digit here, okay, we'll get a value either 5 or 0 if it is divisible by 5. Otherwise we can get all the random values, right? So again, I will tell you what is happening here is that when we use this formula, right, you can actually try it on the lead code itself. It is giving overflow error, and we do not want an overflow. Okay, it does not work for a very large numbers, as we can see, because it just passes over the long intent and even unsigned long end. So it's a very problematic here. But what we can conclude over here is that for any digit to be divisible by 5, the last digit should be the 5 or 0. Hence, what we do is that I'm giving you the final code. We'll just make a loop, okay, and then loop we will initialize int sum to be 1, okay, because we using the multiplication thing, right? Oh, really sorry, it will be 0. Don't worry. So initially it was 0, and next thing is that if we encounter a 1, okay, the sum 2 into 0 plus 1, okay, and the sum will be basically 0. But again we can say that it is not divisible by 1 because the remainder, it is actually storing the remainder here, and the sum is definitely not equal to 5 or 0, so it will push false, okay. But if we encounter as any other digit which is actually divisible by 5, suppose we encounter a large digit 5 2 3 5, so what I mean here is that we are actually not storing the entire digit, and what we are only caring here is for the last digit. So we are extracting this last digit over here in the sum, and we are actually checking if it is divisible by 5 or divisible by 0. That's it, guys. That's the solution. I hope you are able to understand it. If you have any questions, you can ask in the comments below. And if you have any suggestion, what question I should solve next, or if you have any confusion, you can let me know in the comments, and I will give my best to you. Thank you.